Good morning, students. Today we are going to start the second lesson of our zoology portion, that is Unit 18, Organization of Tissues. In this lesson, you will be studying about both the plant and animal tissues. The plant tissues will be your botany portion and the animal tissues will be your zoology portion, starting from page number 214. The learning objectives of this lesson is to know the different types of tissues and their morphology. Morphology means studying about the external structure, and you will be able to identify how tissues are organized in specific patterns to form organs. So literally we know the group of cells are forming the tissues and the group of tissues are forming a particular organ. Here how the tissues are made of to form a particular organ. You will be able to understand how tissues perform life activities in animals. And also you will be able to gain knowledge about the structural organization of tissues. So what is tissue? So we know the group of cells are forming the tissues. So an exact definition is an assemblage of one or more type of specialized cells held together with extracellular material constitute the tissues. So we know each and every cell is highly specialized to perform a particular function. So the cells are holding together with the extracellular material, that is protein. The protein present here is collagen. Collagen is a protein which is binding up the cell together to form a tissues. So we know the difference between plants and animals, right? So plants have less complexity when compared to animals. So animals are very complex in their organ system. So animals have got very well developed organ system. All this organ system is made up of organs and all these organs are made up of tissues. In animals we could find a variety of tissues performing variety of functions. Then the study of tissues is known as histology. This may be the 1 mark or maybe the 2 mark. The study of tissues is known as histology. Then we'll see about the two types, basic types, simple tissue and the compound tissues. So let me take a look. A group of cells that are similar in origin, form, structure and working together to perform a specific function. So what is meant by simple tissue? A group of cells that are look similar. In origin means where it is developing from where it is arising is called as origin. Then forming, how they are forming. Then their structure and their capability of working together to perform a specific function. And that is called as simple tissues. So the compound tissue is entirely opposite to the simple tissue. So let us take a look of compound tissue. A group of cells different in their structure and function but coordinate to perform a specific function. So here a group of cells which look different and similar, which perform different function, but they are binding up together to perform a specific function. So such kind of tissues is called as the compound tissues. Then the type of tissues. These are the major 4 types of tissues, that is epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue and nervous tissues. So what are the 4 types of tissues? Epithelial tissues, connective tissue, muscular tissue and the nervous tissues. So we'll see each and every types of tissues briefly. Then we'll take a note on epithelial tissues. So epithelial tissue is the simplest tissue. So already we have studied about the simple tissues which look similar and similar in their structure and performing the similar function is called as the simple tissues. So that kind of tissue is the epithelial tissues. So epithelial tissues were the first formed during the embryonic development. So these are the first tissues arising during the embryonic development. Okay. These tissues are composed of 1 or more layers. It is covering our outer surface of the body. Also it is covering our internal organs. So their arrangements are very close to each other, that is they have tightly packed So they have very less extracellular materials, that is proteins, okay, which is grouping the cell, which is the protein which is helping the cells to binding up together is called as collagen. It lies in a non-cellular basement membrane. The skin, the lining of the mouth, the lining of the blood vessels are made of epithelial tissues. So here there is no blood vessels. So epithelial tissue is separated from underlying connective tissues. Usually connective tissue supports, connects or separates other tissues or organs. It also protects the body secretions, excretions and allows the body to sense also. The connective tissue which is separating will provide it with nutrition. Okay, there are two types of epithelial tissues, that is simple epithelium and the compound epithelium. So simple epithelium, it is composed of single layer of cells resting on a basement membrane. So for example, we'll take a floor, okay. So floor is the basement membrane. When we spread a single bed sheet, and that is called a simple epithelium. So compound epithelium, it is composed of several layers of cells. Only the cells of the deepest layer rest on the basement membrane. Similarly, the simple epithelium, the floor will be the basement membrane. If we spread a single bedsheet, that is called as a single layer of cells, simple epithelium. When we spread more bedsheets over one above the other, that is called as compound epithelium. Only the first layer will be resting on the basement membrane. Could you be able to understand? Then we'll take a look on functions of epithelial tissues. So the skin which forms the outer covering of the body protects the underlying cells from drying, injury and microbial infections. So we know skin is the outer covering of the body. It protecting the cells from drying, injury and microbial infections. It also helps in absorption of water and nutrition for the cells. They are involved in elimination of waste product. Some epithelial tissues perform secretory functions such as the secretion of sweat, saliva, mucus and the enzymes. Thank you children.